Question number 1, what is the teacher's role in supporting learning, improving planning and practice, upholding professional expectations, and collaborating with teachers? My answer is this. The teacher's attitude and dispositions towards their students, fellow colleagues, administration, school staff, parents, and the surrounding community is essential to their ability to be an effective teacher in the school that they are teaching in. If the teacher is in a community that has a high percentage of minorities, that teacher needs to be aware of the needs of that community. For example, you need to go out and talk to students, you need to talk to parents, you need to talk to community leaders in the area to find out what's going on. What are these kids dealing with? I think that those teachers need to get involved with the community events and volunteer and maybe become a coach. So there's just some examples of what I think they should do. Number 2, what dispositions do you currently possess that you think will make you a successful teacher? And this is part 1. I believe that my strongest dispositions are promoting curiosity and active learning in my classroom, and understand that reflection with experience leads to growth as a professional. So I think those 2 are my big thing. Now, part 2 of that question is, what dispositions do you need to work on before you enter the classroom as a first-year teacher? I'm not a first-year teacher, I'm a third-year teacher. But as a third-year teacher, I think I need to work on being fair. A lot of my students say, that's not fair, Mr. Van Slyke, and I always remind them that, well, life's not fair. But I do need to work on making fairness a part of when a student makes a bad decision. The consequences need to be fair concerning that student. But the thing that I struggle with is that not all students are the same, and sometimes the consequences have to be a little bit different based on that student. So that's what I struggle with. And number 3, what effect could personal bias have on teaching and learning? I think personal bias is very difficult to understand, because since it's a bias, it's something you currently sometimes don't even realize you have. But going into my 3rd year as teaching, I've learned that I have to be more aware of what my students are going through. I have to know them better personally. I have to, at the beginning of the year, I need to ask them more questions, get to know them personally, so I can understand what they're going through, so that I'm less bias going on. I'm hoping, anyways. And how can bias be taken into perspective? I think, just like I said before, bias is very difficult to work with, because it's sometimes most of the time we're not aware of our own biases. But the best thing we can do is just get to know these students, get to know these families, get to know the community, and try our best to become more like them, so that our biases are reduced, that we're aware of what they're going through. Because I'm actually a minority at the school. I'm a white kid, white guy. Everybody else around me, most everybody else is not white. About 80% or more of my students are not white. They're other ethnic backgrounds, and I have to learn to be more like them. I'm actually trying to learn their language as well. Most of my kids are Spanish. Most of their parents all speak Spanish, and it would help if I knew Spanish better. So that's what I'm going to work on this year. Thank you.